Welcome to Women's $1 Million Conversations with Alice Tang, where we share stories from successful businesswomen who have saved, earned, or sold over $1 million and discuss how they built their success and insights to help you achieve your goals. Now, let's join the conversation.
Welcome, Anya Krebs. We are so happy to have you.
Happy to be here. Thank you.
So would you tell us your company, tell us your industry and some specific, and then we can dive deep.
Yeah, so my name is Anya Krebs, and I am the founder and owner of Office Space Copier. So we are in the office equipment space, and we provide office equipment and maintenance and leasing to small to medium-sized businesses across the country. And I, by accident, got in the business about 17 years ago and started Office Space Copier 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
Yes.
Ooh, so we are talking about the $1 million right away, if that's okay with you.
Yes, absolutely.
Would it fair to assume that you got to your $1 million revenue in less than 3 years?
We did, yeah. We hit our $1 million revenue mark, and we are hoping to close out the end of 2022 at a $1.3, $1.4 million mark, which is really exciting. While you're in the daily, you don't really realize that you're there yet, right? You're just concentrating on the day to day. And so when you actually take a moment to sit down and take a look at it, it's been an exciting journey.
Excellent, excellent. Love to hear that. Okay, so a little bit curious or nosy. Very few people get to that $1 million so quickly. What's your secret sauce, to the extent you want to share with our audience?
Oh gosh, I think my secret sauce has been, I've been doing it for so long, right? I hated the industry. I hated the business. There wasn't anything that I truly enjoyed about it, but I was good at it. And I did everything completely opposite and backwards of what everybody else was doing. And I would take advice from incredible mentors and make it my own. It was just little bits and pieces here and there. And I think my greatest success is truly doing the right thing when no one is watching. I feel that when you're taking care of your customers and when you're taking care of your network and the people in it and helping other people get to the top and where they want to go, it all comes full circle. And all those little pieces help you get to where you want to be. We always make that joke that 80% of my day is spending time helping other people, and I happen to sell copiers the rest of the time, right? I would say about 20% of the time is actually working on what it is that I do. The rest is helping other people. And that's why I love what I do.
Well, you just hit the chord. I think I am in the financial industry. It's totally true that 80% of the day you're trying to help the clients to win, to get through some of the hurdles, small and big.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the $1 million. Before we start our recording, you talk about your CPA told you that you got $1 million. You didn't know about it. So I like to focus on the part that when you hit $1 million of revenue, how did it make you feel?
It's really fascinating. It didn't make me feel different. It just was part of it. Because I mean, I value money and I understand the value of it and it's great, but it's not my driver. I'm not driven by money. I'm not driven by numbers. So for me, it was kind of, gosh, that's really cool. And then I just moved on to the next. I just kept going. So it's, some people I know it is exciting and it's their goal and it's one of their main things. For me, it's not my driver. So it didn't make me feel different, which is, I don't know if that's common or not, but for me, it didn't.
Everybody has a similar and yet different answer. So allow me to interpret that.
Yeah.
What I have interpreted is doing the right thing by the customer, even nobody watching, is very important because you are doing that to that great intention. Of course, money comes.
Yes, I'm a true believer. By doing the right thing, money just happens, and it will. It just follows you. It's like that graph of when you see it, you have your ups and downs and then it just happens. It's certainly been a roller coaster ride. Some parts of it I could do without, but others I'm grateful for most of it. Actually, I'm grateful for all of it.
Love your gratitude.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to take you to another direction. This year, International Women's Day, every year is on the 8th of March. So this year, their theme is break the bias. So we can say bias is gender, but sometimes it's not.
Yep.
Many times it's not. So the question for you is, what is the biggest bias that you run into and overcame?
That's an interesting question. When I first started in this career, and it's a very male dominant career, I think in the very beginning, you had even made a comment earlier about the mental piece. I think it was very much my own mental block, which was really interesting when I was reflecting on it, when I thought about this question a little bit. I made other people's experiences and other people's thoughts of what was happening to them, and I was making it my own, right? So I would go in and be like, oh, I didn't get that because, XYZ, or maybe it's because I'm female, or maybe it's because I was young, or I would put all these kind of roadblocks on myself. And when I take a look back and a reflection on that, wasn't the case at all. It was a male dominant career and career path, and they were just better than me. And I'm sure if there were more women in there, the women would have been better than me too. I didn't have the experience yet. I didn't have all of the tools that I needed. I wasn't educated enough. And so everybody was smarter than I was and better at it than I was until they weren't. Until I had those experiences and all of those different tools to put me together. And I think I put those own restrictions on myself, and nobody else had done that for me other than me taking somebody else's stories and making them my own. So I don't truly think that I had any hurdles. I think we sometimes put them on ourselves as to why maybe we failed at something, or we didn't get that one deal, or whatever the case may be. But sometimes it's just that we weren't prepared enough, or we just weren't ready, and that's okay too.
And sometimes it's the buyer or the other side, the client or the customer, because we are ready. We are professional. We are trained. We are experienced. We have a heart to do the good thing. But if everybody we interact said, yes, we close the office in February because done, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, and we're not all supposed to like each other, right? And not everybody is going to like me or have that connection with me. And I'm grateful that doesn't happen very often, but I understand every buyer has different buying criteria and what makes sense for them. And I'm not the right fit for everybody. And that's okay.
And so there's so much about the customer ready or the client is ready. Our job is to tell them, here is the problem. Here's the solution.
Yes. And to help guide them to the right decision, and making sure that they have all the tools that they need in order to make the proper decision. And hopefully you are that person that you'll be their business partner moving forward, and that you are the right one, but at least going into it and making sure that you give them everything that they need to make the best decision for themselves is what we should always be doing in any career, in any job position, and really even as a friend or as guidance to people. Yeah.
Very good. Very good. I think we're on the same track, seeing the same value. Change subject. What is the number one piece of advice you would give to a woman who is an entrepreneur or in a sales and marketing position, just like your previous life? If they're looking to get to that $1 million, what is your number one advice for them?
I think the one thing for me is, looking back, I would have done it sooner. And I think one of the best pieces of advice that I had received from a dear friend of mine and also from my husband is, burn the boats. Just do it. You know that you're successful enough successful in your own career, in working for other people. My few pieces of guidance would be, don't get a business partner, because you can do it on your own. And if you're already that successful, or successful enough to be in the position that you're in, that you're already making those questions, I have the greatest network ever. I always joke and say, I don't know how to do anything, but I know everybody who knows how to do everything, and incredibly well. So rely on those resources, rely on your network heavily, and get all the information. There's nothing more than successful people love to do than sharing their story and helping you get there. Start asking for help, right? You're not meant to do this world alone. And there's so many incredible people that you're probably already in your network that will help you get to those stages. Don't reinvent the wheel, right? Working smarter, not harder would be one of my things of pushing forward.
It's super humbling too. In fact, when you talk about this, is I don't know anything, but I do know the people who have the resource
Oh,
to
thank
get
goodness.
these done. It's so humbling. I think when you check your ego off the door before you walk in and sit down, the world is bigger than we can even anticipate.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And just listen and absorb it in. Every person that we meet, they have something to offer that you can take. And sometimes the most important is what not to do, right? If somebody says you have to do this, but you don't trust their integrity or you don't trust their moral foundation, that goes in your what not to do bucket. And that bucket is just as important of the what to do bucket.
Very good. Now, there's many decisions in business that you need to make a decision, especially sometimes a decision is huge, like jumping from being employed to doing it by yourself, owning the business by yourself. When the stakes are really high, how do you process and make that decision?
Oh, gosh, I call it my previous life. In my previous life, I would think about it and I would go through all the scenarios and I would do it and it would scare me out of it. So I make big decisions fast and I don't overanalyze it. I don't overthink it, because if I do that and if I get too many people's opinions on it, I get confused, I get nervous, there's too many negatives versus positives, and I don't function at my best that way. So I function at my best at just making a decision and making it quickly and then execute. That's the benefit of having choices, right? If you make the wrong one, who cares? Then make another one and fix it, right? You're never stuck in this one place in your path. Gosh, my path looks like this, right? It's never a straight line. Sometimes feel like I'm in that Charlie Brown commercial, right? And he's walking around and he's got this dust. It just happens, but that's my path. And it makes complete sense to me. An outsider looking in, it might look like absolute chaos, but for me, it's my own path, and everybody's path is genuine to their own way of getting there. So for me, I used to overanalyze. Now I make big decisions and all decisions very quickly.
Make a decision very quickly, implement it, and keep moving.
And keep moving. And if you go, holy crap, that was the wrong direction. So what? Just make another choice and get back on it. I call it the life intent plan, right? We talk about it in our family. We talk about it we talk about it every week, but we even take a 10-day trip once a year and we talk about what does our life look like? Where do we want it to go? Are we on track? What adjustments do we have to make? And then it just kind of keeps you on your path of what it is that you want your life to look like. It's easier to make decisions when you know where you want to go.
And also having the heart to understand that if that decision is not the right decision, we're not talking even about failure, but use it as the fuel to propel you to make another decision.
Yep. And sometimes you make another decision too late or later than you should, and but whatever, it all works itself out and comes together.
Very good. How about at the times when, really life is rough? You got 3 years-ish here being a business owner. When life is really tough, you said, oh my God, I want to quit. What keeps you going?
I can't quit. I can't. I'm plan A, B, and C, right? This is the plan. And I can't quit because I love what I do. I cried at 5 a.m. in my coffee sitting at the island once. And that's all I had time for. I spent all of our money, and then I looked at my husband. I was like, what do you got? And then I spent his, right? When I first started the company. And it worked. And it was hard work and just sticking to what you know is right and just pushing forward. But it's once again, it's back to those choices and decisions. I'll always know how to make money. right? Like I said, I have an incredible network. If this doesn't work out, I make a couple of phone calls, right? I never said no to an interview. I always interviewed with all of my competitors while I was going through the industry and before starting Office Space. I never worked for them, but I never said no to the interview. And they have become my best allies and partners and helped me grow Office Space Copier to what it is. I can ask them for advice. I ask them for suggestions. And having that is my strongest character, is my network. I would, that's my piece.
You just hit home here because I do professional speaking. I shared with you when we first talked a few weeks ago. And my most sought after topic is your network, is your prosperity.
Oh gosh, absolutely. I couldn't do anything without them.
Yes. It's really in a busy life. How do you find time to make sure you touch them intentionally without killing your hours? Because 80% of it is really for taking care of clients and helping them to be successful.
Yeah, I think for me, when I'm thinking about it, I might just call them. And it can even be, hey, I have no time to talk to you right now. I just want you to know I was thinking of you. Are you doing well? Is your family great? Okay, great. Chat in a bit, but love you and thinking of you, right? It literally can be that basic and that easy. I think everybody thinks you have to spend a lot of time and investment and all of this, but really, people want to know that they're thought of and that they're cared for and that they're loved. And I love the people in my network. They have become dear, kind friends and family.
Yeah, just Adi Calvert, our common friends who connected the two of us, she touched me every week. Is a voicemail, is a voice message, is a text message, or just an email or a tag in social media.
It just has to be something
hey, look, I really like this post because intentionally.
Yeah.
2 more questions. What is the one thing you would do differently if you were to start over?
Oh gosh, wouldn't it be amazing if I could start it? Like, I saw this question on social media or maybe LinkedIn. If you had an opportunity to get $50 million now or go back to the age of 10, but having the knowledge of what you have now, I would do that in a heartbeat. I think the one thing that I would change is I would just do it sooner. I would have started Office Space Copier sooner. I had made other companies incredibly successful, and my efforts are still the same, right? How much I worked for other people and how much I work for myself is still the same, but I get to reap the benefits of it. And I get to create the company that I want for my clients versus trying to create it in somebody else's organization where you may agree with 80% of what they're doing, but the 20%, it's kind of, you don't. Now I get to agree with all of it that I'm doing. So I would say that I would have done it sooner.
Awesome. Last question.
Yes.
What is one piece of very good advice or one piece of very bad advice that has made the biggest impact in your life?
You know, a dear friend of mine, he had sent me, and I can't remember who the Hollywood actress was, but it was just strap it on, put on your lipstick and just get going. It's just that idea of starting, right? It's you've got this, you've got it. You've got all the tools, you know how to do it. The insecurities of yourself or the self-talk track or whatever it is that you have, work through it, right? And figure out what it stems from and then just go for it. And it goes back to the choices. If it doesn't work out, so what? Try again. And all the things that I learned by the stubbing my foot, or I call it failing forward. I just you learn so much along the way. In every experience, you get to add that to your toolbox. So just keep moving forward and don't spend so much time even thinking about it. Figure out what it is that you learn from it and take that piece, but don't spend any time in the past of it. Just keep going, keep pushing forward.
Yeah, thinking about the past is useless because
you can't do anything about it.
Yeah, you can't change it. Learn from it and move forward, armed with that new experience or new lesson.
Yes, be armed with the tools of how it's going to help you in the next situation, because will arise again. All of those challenges always come back. It's how you react, and now you're just more prepared for them, and they don't hurt so much. Then it's not even a big deal.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Start earlier.
Start.
Trust yourself.
Yes.
Make a quick decision and then just execute. If it's not the right decision, go ahead, alter the course.
Yep.
And make some changes. Thank you so very much today.
And just remember to
for
be
your
kind.
time.
Be kind throughout the process. Be kind to others. Be kind to yourself. Right? Be kind to your family. And it all comes full circle.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Anya. You are
thank
a
you,
rock
Alice.
star.
Thank you.